Hey, everybody, welcome back and welcome in. I'm Pastor Dave. Sitting with me, Randall, the armor bearer, and we are
They That Believe.
This is where we talk about church culture and pop culture, weird news, geek news, current events, entertainment news, all filtered through a lens of lifestyle Christianity. Thanks for coming back. Thanks for hitting the download button one more time. Thanks for telling a friend. We love it when you tell a friend. You can find us at theythatbelieve.com and facebook.com/theythatbelieve. And we've still got episodes up on SoundCloud. I've still been using SoundCloud, although I can only get one or two on there at a time. But that's a good app. I have success with it. Gretchen didn't like it. But either way, you can play it directly at the website and download there. And
I did notice that sometimes if you're in like a firewall situation, that SoundCloud will play, but the Podomatic won't. So if you're at work or something.
Really? Mm-hmm. Straight from the web page. You're not talking about the app, like the mobile app, right?
No, straight from the web page.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know that. I had problems getting the app, the mobile app wouldn't work on my phone, but I actually found if I go straight to the web page, it plays fine on my mobile device. So we have Valentine's Day in the rear view mirror. Did you do anything interesting with your girls?
I didn't have them, so I did get to go to the after Valentine's Day sale.
Oh, the candy.
Yeah, I got a bunch of stuff from there. It looked like I was, I spent a bunch of money and I really didn't.
Yeah, no, so. I'm totally down with that. We what did we do for Valentine's Day? Went to see Deadpool, which was interesting. I really expected that Gretchen would not like it, and she was okay with it. She didn't dislike it, but I thought she would hate it, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And she actually chuckled quite a bit. And I say I expected that she wouldn't like it because it had really vulgar, a lot of foul language and, of course, violence and stuff. And we mentioned it in passing. We didn't really talk about Deadpool, I don't think, that much. But I did make the comment at the time, not that everybody was listening to me, but you should have known already. Yeah. It was not a movie for kids.
No.
And I saw a lot of other people, a lot of my friends, complaining is not the word, but commenting that when they went to the theater, their experience was there was a lot of kids, a lot of school age and kindergarten age kids, and some people later getting mad about it. Who doesn't know?
Because I feel like they did a really good job of getting out there that this wasn't a kid friendly movie.
They had the red band trailers with all the profanity in it. I mean, I guess if you're just completely unaware, but that seems really unlikely in the internet age.
Well, and then it became fashionable to ask if it was okay to take your kids to see it, just to see what the comments were. I noticed a couple of different websites where, well, do you think it's okay to take my 12-year-old? And it's, you're their parent. You should know.
Yeah. I mean, in general, of course, where's that age when you start? Because some I saw people were talking about like 6 and 7-year-olds. That would be an obvious no for me.
Right.
12-year-old would probably be a blanket no. Then as you go a little further, I don't know, 13, 14.
Yeah.
See, Nate's probably on the bubble because I thought we went without him, and I thought this is probably not one that I wanted to take him to. After I saw it, to be honest, the way they pitched it, they almost used the language and the vulgarity and the violence and stuff almost as a selling point.
I was thinking the same thing. I remember when I was a kid, if you'd watch HBO and before the movie would come up, it would give you that big, this movie contains violence, adult content, adult language, nudity, strong sexual content. And I remember thinking, man, if it's got all that in, I really want to watch it.
And now you get that with the MPAA ratings.
Right.
Now they tell you not just that it's rated R, but why.
Right.
Language and violence and brief nudity or
smoking,
sensuality. Yeah. I've seen that. They've gotten much more descriptive. We're having a laugh, but if you're wondering why it's rated the way it is, or you want to take your kid, again, in the internet age, you would expect all that information is out there. So I don't know. I mean, I guess I can see a scenario in which somebody went in unaware. They were like, boy, we sure like the Avengers. Let's take the kids to see that old Deadpool, you know. So if you haven't seen it yet and you're thinking about it, I mean, just be forewarned that it's got plenty of language and vulgarity. But, here's the thing with that. I don't really want to say I'm defending it. I'm not defending it. All our entertainment would probably be better if we could clean up a lot of that. But Deadpool as a property as a character and as a comic book that's always been kind of an element to it.
Right.
So if you're going, this is what I told Gretchen. I said, if you're going to do it, then you need to do it right.
Yeah.
Captain America is not traditionally a vulgar person.
No, and I think it's one of the things where they actually did what the fans wanted with the movie instead of what the movie-going audience would want to see.
You know, had they made any effort to clean it up, so to speak, yeah, they'd have been eaten alive.
Right.
The fans would have been absolutely furious. And it was okay. I'm one of those people. I'm not one of the big Deadpool crazy fans.
Yeah.
You know, I can take it or leave it. I'm okay with it. His whole gimmick of talking to the audience and thing, didn't quite appeal to me maybe as much as some other people. But in this instance, I'm glad at least the fans got what they wanted. And it was for me, it was maybe just a warm-up for some of the stuff that we're going to get later this year.
Yeah.
Talking about Valentine's Day, that was really all we did. And, of course, we got some winter weather in our area. Valentine's morning, it was pretty well cleared up enough. At least we could travel in the evening and stuff. I was thinking about this the other day. Do the kids, and Nate's 14, so I guess I don't have any perspective on this. Do the kids still do the thing where they take their little Valentines to school?
Oh, yeah.
Do they have any kind of party? Do your girls have to do that?
Oh, man, yeah. Yeah, actually, this year, I have 3 girls, Madeline, Sophie, and Grayling. Madeline's 11, Sophie's 9, Graylin's 6. So Sophie and Grayling were in the buying Valentine's phase, making their little boxes out of the shoe boxes and, getting everything ready. And then Madeline decided that they weren't really having a party at school, but she thought she would just make some little Valentines for them out of notebook paper. She didn't want to buy Valentines for them. So we let her.
Well, I would like that better.
Yeah.
But they still do that thing where they have like a Valentine's party and the kids go around and drop them in your box or envelope. Or I remembered that from when I was a kid, and you would get, I don't know, how many do they come in a box now?
Right. The ones that Grayling got had 10 in a box, so we got 2 boxes, and then the one Sophie had like candy with them, so it was a box of 20.
Did that cover a full class?
That covered her class.
You guys,
yeah,
where we live, in kind of a small town, rural area, our class sizes, our school classes don't tend to be very large. Good for our kids. Because I was listening to somebody else in a larger area talk about how they had to, they were getting them in 25 or 30 and, would come up a couple short, and the kid was having a meltdown. I need more. This isn't enough. You got to go to the store and get more.
The best the other day was cupcakes. I had to get cupcakes for Sophie's birthday. Sophie turned 10. And so I asked her how many she had in her class, and she said she had 18, but she needed 20 cupcakes. And I was like, well, they come in packs of 6, so why do you need 20 if you just got 18? And she thinks I'm incredibly cheap anyway. But she had 2 other friends in school she wanted to give cupcakes to. So I finally caved and got her the 4 packs of cupcakes for the school.
Okay.
And then we had some left over for home.
It's a practice that I'm in to some degree. I'm surprised we still have in this age of everybody gets a trophy, and we're so worried about hurt feelings. We don't want anybody to get feelings hurt or anybody to say anything that might hurt your feelings. And then to organize something like that where they pass around, and because you're really gambling that everybody gets one from somebody. And
well, now that's one of the things they do is that you have to have enough for everybody in the class. You don't just give it to 1 or 2 people. You've got to have a Valentine for everybody. So
and similarly, one of the things that we do in the church that it doesn't really sit well with me, and a lot of church leadership have generally discouraged it, although it's become practice and it's so entrenched that you just about, I've never had the guts to tell people maybe we shouldn't do it. But like when Mother's Day rolls around and you start giving out, ribbons or flowers or whatever.
Oldest mom, youngest mom.
Let's recognize mothers. And, I'm just for what it's worth for those of you that are listening, if you're wondering where I'm going with all this, just as a pastor and as a person, I've been the one that's had to talk to people or console people after the fact. Look, we've got a lot of people that are not able to have children, that desperately want them. A lady that was in a church where we used to attend, where I was music director, they had a child die, like an infant. or a newborn. No, I'm sorry, it was stillborn, I think. Either way, you get the idea.
Yeah.
And when we do that, and it's not that the intent is not bad, and I'm not getting on to anybody saying how awful you are. Of course you're not. You're trying to do something nice and sweet to commemorate the day. But for what it's worth, I would just throw out there or point out to folks that hurts a lot of people's how can I say it correctly? It's not that you're hurting their feelings.
Right.
But, when you recognize people for being mothers and you're doing something special for them, but yet it's in a group of people where people have lost children or not able to have children.
Bringing up some memories they may not want to deal with at the time.
Yeah, it kind of picks at some scabs. So just for what it's worth, I would encourage you. I'm not saying don't do it. I've not had the courage to say let's not do it in our. I kind of wish we wouldn't for that reason. But if it provokes you guys to have the conversation, have the conversation. Yeah, I remember the Valentines doing those, and we would get the box, and I don't know if it seemed like they had more one. Yeah. I thought they had like 15, 20, 30 something.
Well, that's how they get you to pay more money now.
I guess. Or maybe they're bigger, because I know when we had them, they were really small. And you may have like that one girl that you really like. So if you had, let's say you had a box of 20, and there was maybe like 15, 16, 17 kids in your class, you would fill out those 15 or 16, and you'd pick the best ones in there, and you might drop 4 or 5 of the good ones, into little Susie's shoebox or envelope or whatever it is she had. And
I remember being worried about giving the I love you ones to somebody, and somebody you didn't like. You had to weed out those.
You would be very selective, and you had a limited pool.
Right.
It's not like you were standing at the Hallmark aisle in the dollar store. I mean, where you could pick anything. You've got a limited pool of 10, 15, 20 cards.
Right.
So you have to ration or select carefully which one is but if you use this one over here, you can't use it over here. So.
You have the gamut of let's be friends to you're my Valentine. So you want to get the the let's be friends one out to the girl you may not like very much, and then keep on going down the line.
It's interesting that we still have that practice. That's kind of like we were talking last week about how you don't understand why people who complain about one thing don't complain about other things. It seems like a practice, and maybe they don't. I don't know. Maybe they don't in a lot of schools, or especially considering that it carries the name of a Christian saint. Maybe. How ridiculous is that?
Yes.
Yeah, I can't believe. No, maybe I shouldn't mention. Shh, let's not mention it. Maybe they'll just let us.
Oh my gosh, they're pink too. Oh no.
And I was trying to figure out what to do for Valentine's Day, to do something nice for Gretchen. I normally do. Flowers were tricky this year. Valentine's Day fell on a Sunday.
Yeah.
And Monday was President's Day, so it was holiday. And of course, Gretchen's a teacher, so she wasn't at school. And if you work somewhere where you observe a federal holiday, then you weren't at school or you weren't at work.
Right.
So when do you send flowers? Tuesday? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or a lot of people were getting them on Friday, and I thought about Friday, and she mentioned to me in passing.
She circled the arrangement she liked.
If one hypothetically we're so inclined to send flowers, one should know that at her school they have asked for them to all come on Thursday. Which I responded with, well, I'm not getting flowers this year. I just flat out said, look, it just didn't feel right to me. I'm not going to send them on Thursday or Tuesday. Yeah. And I wondered if maybe that affected the flower business this year.
It's such a huge commercial holiday anyway.
It is. It's a Hallmark holiday.
I mean, it's something completely made up.
Yeah.
St. Valentine didn't have anything to do with love. I think he was drawn and quartered. And
No, about 250 years or so after Christ, Saint Valentine was a priest under the reign of Claudius the Cruel. Claudius, I'm going to give you some history now. Look at me. I'm going to drop some knowledge on you. And Claudius was having difficulty getting people to volunteer for his army. And he found a lot of people would rather at least give him benefit for trying to create a volunteer army. He couldn't get people in his army because they didn't want to leave their wives and their homes and their girlfriends and all that kind of stuff. And so what he did is he got the idea that if people if men were not married, had no attachments, they'd be more inclined to want to join the army. I guess they got nothing better to do, right?
Right.
So couldn't go to college. No GI Bill or anything.
Can't run to Canada.
Yeah, right. No. So he issued a decree that there would be no more marriages. He put a moratorium on marriages, which of course made all the young people mad. They wanted to get married and certainly didn't want to go to war.
Right.
So St. Valentine would marry them secretly.
Oh.
Right. Yeah. And kind of stood up against in the face of Claudius and yeah, ultimately the jig did come up and they came and arrested him for it. And he's, was martyred for the cause. But and I'm trying to remember how this worked. It was a daughter of one of his jailers who befriended him and actually would come and visit and sit and talk with him. And somebody was passing love notes. It may have been her to him, notes of encouragement or whatever, but that's where we get so there is an actual, maybe technically factually based. Yeah. Oh yeah. It exists, not the holiday, but the life of Saint Valentine exists in our Christian tradition. Yes. I don't know what, if anything, he would have to say about the way we observe it now, but nonetheless, anyway, yeah. So I'm like, look, I'm not sending flowers. I'm not sending them on Thursday. I'm not going to send them on Tuesday. That's just weird. And I pretty well got a pass on that. Gretchen knows that, I don't avoid something, I like to do things for her. I like to make her feel special. If I'm not going to do something like that, there's a reason.
Right.
And I normally do pretty good in the sending flowers department. The question is, what do I do? How do we, we were going to go out on Sunday, and have like a Sunday Valentine's Day date or so, and maybe eat and go watch the movie, go watch Deadpool. But that sort of kind of, even in my mind, didn't count. Because we certainly weren't going to go see a movie that she wanted to go see.
Right. And did you see the advertisements for Deadpool where they had it like?
You mentioned that.
Like it looked like a love story.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
This was coming out February 14th.
To kind of pitch it as a Valentine's Day story. So that I knew that wasn't really satisfying, and ultimately when we got that winter weather that Sunday, we were kind of in a holding pattern for most of the day because it got a little bad in the morning.
Yeah.
And we had kind of resigned ourselves to the fact that we probably weren't going to get out. But later in the day, by late afternoon, early evening, it looked good. So we at least made it out to go to the movie. So anyway, you still got to do something. Well, we had stopped when we went out on another shopping excursion a couple of days prior. We stopped in a coffee place that we like. Nate has developed a taste for caramel macchiato. He likes to drink caramel macchiato. I know, right?
You feel like a failure as a father?
No. It could be a whole lot worse. I'm hoping maybe he'll try some other things, you know. But I don't even know how he came across that. Maybe just accidental. But they had some decorative coffee mugs. The one that had, like Bless Our Family and a couple others that said something else. And she wanted those, and I was like, she's like, will you, they were kind of expensive. She's like, will you get these for me? I was like, Happy Valentine's Day. There you go. Done. I wipe my hands. I'm done.
You didn't wait till the day after Valentine's where you could get them cheaper?
No. They weren't really Valentine themed.
Oh, okay.
They were just kind of family themed. And I'm the guy. I'm not cheap. And generally in life, I am kind of a cheapskate. But when it comes to giving gifts, and I want her to feel special, I'm not going to skimp. And I like to put the thought and stuff into it. But for me, I'm willing to do all that. Just make it convenient for me. Make it easy for me to be generous. I had even considered, like some gift cards and stuff for the local boutique shops. And I don't know, when I've gotten those for her in the past, they seem to, she'll go, can't find anything she likes. 2 weeks later, she'll go, can't find anything she likes. And it's like, she never buys anything. The gift cards sit for 2 years or certificates. So that didn't really, I don't know, that didn't seem like, anyway, she pretty much settled it for me. She wanted the mugs, and I got out of having to do
Any
flowers,
heavy thinking or anything. So.
Right. Easy. That's it. Well, they're kind of, hey, that's no problem. I didn't have to.
Sold.
Sold. Okay. Well, moving on to something else. I had an interesting and frustrating exchange with someone this week via electronic mail.
Was it my mom?
No. Not at all. Not at all. No, and actually, if it was somebody that I knew, I probably wouldn't talk about it. But it was with a customer service representative.
Sweet.
Via email. And in the grand scheme of things, when I step back and look from this, it's probably not that onerous, probably not that severe. It probably reveals more about my personality and what frustrates me. Well, anyway, a year ago, or not quite a year ago, June of last year, I ordered a T-shirt that had not yet come into production. It was a pre-order from a website that deals from a comic book website. There are several where we live. The nearest comic book store is probably an hour away.
Yeah. Does Jackson have one?
Yeah, we have a store in Jackson. There's one in Dyersburg, too, both of which are nice if you're looking to visit a comic shop. It's Comics Universe is the one in Jackson. I cannot remember the name of the one in Dyersburg.
Is it Hastings, maybe?
No, you mentioned Hastings to me, and I'm not familiar with that place, but you were. What is it they have?
They've got... Well, I know they've got comics there, but I think they've got like all kinds of electronics and stuff too.
Okay, so that may be another place you may be interested in if you're visiting. But both those stores are nice. But anyway, they're an hour or better away, depending on which direction I'm going. And when we go through there, if we're over there for other entertainment or stuff, I'm prone to stop. But I can't go once a week or 2 or 3 times a week, to get my regular books, which means I order them through the internet, which is convenient. Of course, I'm always late getting them. Everybody else gets them and reads them, and there's talk on the internet before mine ever come in. But no big deal. That's just something you chalk up to living where we live. Still convenient to have them delivered to the house.
Right.
So there are 2 or 3 places that I deal with, online retailers that I deal with, that I like. Midtown Comics, which I think is the largest store in the world. They're very famous in New York and Midtown, Manhattan.
Right.
And Things from Another World. TFAW is their website. And that's usually where I buy my books. I can shop and pre-order them. So whenever they're released, they send them to the house. No problems with Midtown or Things from Another World. Well, June of last year, when I was just browsing and shopping, I found a T-shirt that I wanted, and it's from another retailer. Fairly well known. I'd not done business with them before. I won't name them, but I thought, well, this was my first order. My first and last order. So I ordered a T-shirt in June of last year. I knew that it was not immediately available. It hadn't been produced yet. This was in June. They were projecting in the fall that it would be distributed and that kind of thing. And that's not uncommon in the comics world, even if you're talking about collectibles or shirts or book. You pre-order a lot. You put things on a pull list, is what we say for books. Well, that was June of last year. As of February, nothing. And I had almost forgotten about it. Really?
So that's what I worry about when I do stuff like that, is that I'm going to forget.
It had been so long, and it hit me one day. I'm like, hey, I ordered a T-shirt last year. And then I had to remember where I'd ordered it from. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because it wasn't one of my usual places. And I'm like, what was it? Who did I order that from? And I had to kind of scour my emails and ultimately went back and found it. So, and I was able to go to the website and pull up my account and order and all that. And it was still unfulfilled and all that. So here's the first email that I sent. I'm going to read this to you. I sent this on February 6th. This is from me to customer service of this.
The beginning of the paper trail.
Company. Yeah. As of February 6, 2016, my order placed in June of last year remains unfulfilled. Also, for some reason, I have not received any correspondence from name of company regarding my order. Now, here's what I asked for. Please see immediately that the item ships or a refund is provided. And I gave the amount, $20.09. See details below. I've not received any correspondence regarding the order. Please see immediately the item ships or a refund is provided. Anything unclear about that at all?
No, it seems pretty self-explanatory.
Easy. Didn't go into a lot of detail.
You go option A or option B.
I'm not exactly. Thank you. That's it. Do one or the other. Both
really
of them.
the only two things you could do.
That's all I would ask for.
Right.
Well, you would think the only two things you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And look, I'm not even one of these people to raise a stink just about everything. This is outrageous, and this is how you do customer service. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That's not me. This was, 3 sentences. Okay. 2 days later, I get this from Mary in customer service, February 8th.
That's a suspicious sounding name.
Yeah, it's probably some Eastern Indian guy sitting halfway across the world.
Hello, my name is
Steve. Yeah.
Steve.
Hello, I am Jeffrey.
Yeah.
You ain't no Jeffrey, man. No. All right, so February 8th. Here's what I got in response. Dave, comma. Okay, already we're off to a bad start.
Right.
Mary and I don't know each other.
Right.
I'm a customer with money. She is a customer service representative for a company.
And she has your money.
Yes. We're not on a first name basis.
Right.
That I know there's probably some people who are rolling their eyes like, oh, come on, man. This is a formal correspondence. Mm-hmm. Don't immediately presume to address me by my first name.
Right.
Which actually, when I submitted my order and when I signed my email, now my email address has Dave in it, and I am typically called Dave. Now, my formal name, my Christian name, the name that my mother had given me is David, which appears on like when I fill out my credit card information in my order form. So she had to make that jump too to Dave. You know,
like she's Illuminati. She's out there looking.
She had to make that jump to Dave.
She's staring through your windows.
Okay, so already we're on a first name basis.
Right.
That kind of don't do that.
Yes.
If you don't know somebody and you're doing business, that's not the way. You don't immediately address people like that. So anyway, Dave. Unfortunately, we weren't always given status updates for items, and I apologize for any inconvenience this may have caused you. Okay. Secondly, now here we go. Now we're making excuses. I'm passing the buck. We're not given this. We're not given it. Mary says, I have checked on this shirt, and our distributor shows that it has not yet been released by the publisher. Already knew that. And the updated release date has not yet been received by them. Passing the buck again, but I'll give her a pass for that one because basically I already knew that. I know what's happening. The shirt hadn't been released. Right. If it had released, and I'm sure these guys would have shipped it if they had it. The problem is, for me, don't let an unfulfilled order go from June to February. Okay, so here's what she says. Now, do you remember what I wrote to her? Ship the item or issue a refund.
Right.
Please and thank you. So here's how she responds. If you like, because she's concerned about what I like.
Yeah.
So if I like, I can email our contact to see if they can find any more information regarding this item. I don't want any more information regarding the item.
Yeah.
I want the item or I want my bucks. If you would prefer to have the order canceled instead, let me know and I'll take care of it for you. Again, now look at this. I'm very sorry for the publisher delay with this.
Yeah.
No, then why are you apologizing?
Right.
If it's not your fault, why are you apologizing? But the whole thing drips with this. I'm removing accountability from us, not just like here's the way I respond to that when I receive it is June of last year ? Man, I'm sorry. That's completely unacceptable. We don't always get updates on our orders, and maybe that's something we should work on.
Right.
I'd be glad to issue your refund. I'll check on the item. Let me see before I issue your refund, let me see when it's going to be shipped.
I would feel like that would be something that you would do just from the original email, is that you would check to see when it was coming out. That would have to be.
And I almost wish if she would have done that other than ask if you like, I can email our contact. Don't ask me if I like. Respond to me and tell me, hey, here's what's going on. Here are answers.
Right.
I have emailed. It's going to be another 3 months. More than happy to refund anything like that. But there was no real response to what I had asked for.
I think I'd rather have someone say, I've emailed the source and I haven't got a reply yet. When I get one, I will be sure to pass it on to you.
Or just do this. we've issued a refund. Our distributor says the item will be released in 2 more months if you're still interested. Anything like that that directly responds other than, I have asked, here are the terms that I have asked for. Ship the item or refund the money.
Right.
She comes back with things that she doesn't know. We don't get this information. We don't have that information. If you like, I can do this. I can do that. None of which is what I asked for. Simple.
Right.
Simple. And so, okay. Again, I'm very sorry for the publisher delay with this. And here's the best part. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to help in any way I can.
Well, of course you're going to have questions or comments.
1, I already did. And 2, I must not be making you very happy because you're not helping me any way that you can. So that was from Mary from customer service.
Mary?
So I responded. This is what frustrates me. Why do I have to send a second email that says the same thing?
Right.
I just address it the first time. So I says, 1 sentence with a thank you. Please cancel the order and see that a refund is provided. Thank you. That's it.
Rocket science.
So then 3 days later, I get another email from Mary. Dave, I have canceled this for you and your balance has been refunded via PayPal. And check this out. I hope this helps with an exclamation point.
I hope you can put food on your table. Now that I got your $20 back.
Is that Mary with a smile going, I hope this helps? Or is it, hope that helps? Yeah. Take your T-shirt and choke on it. Yeah. And again, now here's where I realized she didn't write the last line of her previous email. It's some kind of electronic stamp because it says again, if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me. I'll be happy to help you any way I can.
That's your e-signature.
And the best part of all, it's signed sincerely. Mary is so sincere. And I'm sure she's probably trying to do the best she can. But here's the takeaway from all that. Don't be informal with me, especially when I didn't try to express any anger in my email, but you know that you've got an unsatisfied customer. Okay? You took $20 from me last year.
Right.
Have given me nothing and have forgotten about my order. Okay? Those kind of things will happen. I don't need to burn the place down. I don't need somebody to lose their job.
Right.
Just give me my 20 back.
I'm not upset.
We'll be square. But I'm obviously an unsatisfied customer. Right. So to that, don't respond to me so informally. Don't presume to call me by my first name, especially when you're trying to satisfy an unsatisfied customer. I want to kind of elevate them a little bit.
Right. Well, you give them the opportunity to say, "Oh, just call me Dave." That takes some of the edge off of, because I've trained salespeople before, and that's one of the main tactics you have when you first meet someone. Oh, hey, Mr. Chafin. Oh, just call me Dave.
But but to say, Mr. Chafin, we are so sorry for the delay in your. It's more respectful to me. It tells me that you're taking this seriously, as opposed to, hey, Dave, what's up? I don't know what's going on with that.
Sorry, man.
Yeah, I know you said ship it or refund, but if you like, why did she say if you like? I've already told her what I would like.
That's what you want to do? Are you sure you want to?
I can email our contact. I can see if they have any more information. I can do it. It hasn't been like a month. It's been since June. I don't want to do that anymore.
Right.
I'm not interested in that. I don't want this to rent any more space in my head. Right? I even had to do all the work to go back and remember where I even ordered the stupid thing from.
And the thing is that if she'd have done her job to begin with, she could have still kept a customer. She could have, if she had come back with a firm deadline of when that thing was going to ship.
Right.
And you knew that it was going to come out in 2 months and, you could have still been a viable customer.
In that instance, I would have been willing to entertain other terms.
Right.
If there's a hard answer, like glad to issue the refund. Before I do that, let me let you know that it will be. Our distributor has told us that it will definitely be in the box on the way on, March 15th.
Right.
then I'm willing to, if you come back at me with a solid answer.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I had forgotten. I'm glad now that I did mention this with you, President. I forget about your retail and sales experience. Mm-hmm. Well, from the textbook or the practical experience side, see, I'm the customer here. Mm-hmm. So how would you counsel Mary about this if she was your subordinate?
Well, I think that possibly if Mary's making mistakes like that the counseling is probably over. Because you figure on a mail order type thing, if she's losing $20 through an email, how many times has she done that over the past couple months?
Well, in fairness, Mary was not rude.
Yeah.
And Mary is not the reason the sale was lost. I wanted my money back before Mary ever responded anyway.
But Mary could have closed the deal.
There you go. Rescued it.
Yeah, she could have.
Yeah,
she could have done her diligence to rescue the deal. Now, some folks just aren't meant for that kind of stuff.
Now, how does she do that? She sort of made, I guess that's an attempt when you go, hey, I can do this. If you like, I can. There's an attempt, it seems there.
No, there's
but
no
that
attempt.
wasn't correct. How would you do that?
I would.
If you received that email from me and, hey, from Dave Chafin at Randall's Comics, I ordered this T-shirt in June of last year. Let me read it to you, and I'll let you respond. What did I do with it? I already put it away. I threw it in the trash. All right. So here, I'm gonna email this to you at Randall's Comics. My order, as of February 6, 2016, my order placed in June of last year remains unfulfilled. Also, for some reason, I have not received any correspondence regarding my order. That was the other thing, too. Mm-hmm. Normally when I buy anything anywhere else, you get updates. It's shipped. Right. It's going to ship. We're processing your order. Mm-hmm. As soon as your card information clears, you know what's happening.
Right.
I never got anything. So please see immediately that the item ships or a refund is provided, $20.09. Mm-hmm. Okay. So how do you respond to that?
Well, the first thing I would do after I read that would be to either email the manufacturer.
Okay.
That'd be first. I wouldn't do anything with you until I had a dedicated answer.
You want to be informed before you start responding.
Right.
That seems smart.
So then if I couldn't get that answer back within a timely period, I would have refunded your purchase. Mm-hmm. Now, maybe part of that letter would have been, I'm researching when the product will ship. I'm more than happy to give you your refund right now if you would like me to. Or if you would like to wait a few days until I can get the information back. Now, there might have been something like that done in the original email. Now, if I had the information, then I would just email you back and say, okay, if you'd like a refund, no problem. The unit will ship in 2 months if you'd like to hold off on it, or we can put you back in the queue in 2 months,
Now, see, in that instance, yes, I'm more willing to consider other terms.
Right.
As peculiar as that sounds, the difference between what you said and what Mary said was Mary didn't know. Mm-hmm. She still didn't know. She's saying, if you like, I can still spend more time and resources contacting other people to get answers.
Well, the thing is that, in a situation like that, you're not the only one who's ordered this thing, pre-ordered it. So this has to be something that you would have to know the answer to.
Huh. I didn't think of that. You would think if you had ordered one too.
Right. I mean, you think that something on a website, then several people have probably pre-ordered it.
And have probably emailed and what's going on with that. And
the answer is probably in their computer system somewhere as to what's going on with it. Because somebody else has probably done their diligence to figure out what's actually going on with it.
Well, either way, it's, again, I don't think this is a bad company. Mm-hmm. I don't think Mary's a bad person. I mean, and it's probably a business that's not going to hurt just because they're not getting any of my business, but they're not.
You don't think though, but I've had employees that just in the inability to close a sale have cost me several $1,000s, in the course of a few months.
Well, yeah.
Because if they're doing it with you, they can do it with other people.
But again, in fairness, I say in fairness, Mary is in customer service. Right. She's usually responding when half to 2/3 of the correspondence she has is going to be because something didn't go right.
Right.
She's not in customer service because all the orders are getting fulfilled on time perfectly and to everybody's satisfaction.
And that means that, if you're in that situation, because I've been in that situation before where you're the one who puts out the fires, you've got to be extra on top of your game. if you're dealing with folks who are upset already. You know, it's a whole lot easier to sell somebody something with no preconceived notions about it. But when they're already mad about something going wrong,
yeah,
it's super hard to get them back.
And the other side of that is when you do that, if you're the customer, don't go in guns a-blazing either. And I don't like that in people when they just get, look, things happen. And to be honest with you, I know what's going on here. Mm-hmm. And it's not them. It's not that they have the shirt and won't ship it.
Right.
They don't have it. And whoever is producing it and told them it's going to be ready to go in November or whatever, it's not ready. Mm-hmm. They're not, and they may not produce it. It may not ever come. So it's not on them. And there's no reason for me then to cuss people out or act like they've insulted my mother or something.
Well, you know, and I thought of that in different times in my life when I've been in customer service, but, you know, I started in the retail business right out of high school. At first I was selling educational toys.
Okay.
And then I sold cars for a while, and I sold paint and auto parts and ended up at Fred's. But in all that time, I've had maybe 2 customers that came in that I couldn't calm down. They were so unruly. And usually that was something that somebody else had done before to get them over that edge.
What do you mean?
I mean, usually I can get people that have come in and are having the work. You know, figure if you're selling auto parts, for instance, when I was working for Napa and Pep Boys and O'Reilly's Mid-State, that, you know, they're already having a bad day. Their car's broke down. They need a part. They're coming in and say somebody sold them the wrong part already. So now they're super upset. And you think that you'd have more people come in that were just crazy, cussing and screaming. But really, if they come in like that, usually you can calm them down. You can get them back on the right path with the right wording and stuff. You know, that's the difference between someone being a professional and someone who takes that seriously versus someone who's just making a paycheck.
How far do you go with someone that's upset? Meaning, there is a place and that's good that you recognize what's behind it. You know, they're having a bad day.
Oh, yeah.
And we can easily put ourselves in that spot.
Oh,
If my car breaks down and it's some kind of hose or a belt, let's a belt, because those are all sized so funky.
Yeah.
And I walk a half mile up to the auto parts store to get a belt for my 04 Nissan Frontier. The guy looks in the book or in the computer, gives me a belt, go back. It's not the right belt. Mm-hmm. We know that feeling, and you're like, he gave me the wrong belt. You're the auto parts. You're supposed to know. Mm-hmm. So we all know that feeling. Now, when he comes back, where's that line in I can still rescue this situation, I can still maybe calm this guy down, I can still, as opposed to, you got to get out. There's a certain place where you cannot help someone, maybe they won't be helped, or
there's a certain
where's
place.
That line?
With me, I always try to stay calm first. I never get upset, which is something that it's taken years to work on, where, you know, anybody can come in and just start cussing you out and you can just keep a straight face.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Yeah. In your field of work especially.
Yeah.
But you got to get in your own mindset that these people need help. And especially if they're in there cussing and screaming, you know that they're not exactly normal in the head, you know, so you got to take extra care with them. But I don't think I've ever had to, like, actually kick somebody out of a place. Okay. I've either had to...
You'll go all the way with them.
Yeah. Normally, if I've got the stuff to fix whatever their problem is, I fix it, no matter what it takes. If it takes... And there's been times, like at Napa, that I gave a customer a part, charged it to my own account, gave it to them for free, and just, you know, you go take this, get it taken care of, come back and see us when you need something else, you know.
I'll tell you this, and I would not have expected this, and I don't want anybody to hear that I'm suggesting that they should have done this, but I tell you, what would have rescued me with these folks, not just this sale, but as a customer, what would have made me and kept me, because this is my one and only transaction with them. Mm-hmm. This is my first experience and now my last.
Right.
If she would have said, we're going to refund your money and we're going to ship it when we get it. We'll send you a shirt anyway. Or if she said, I'm going to refund your money to your account, or I'm going to give you, I'll refund you the money on the shirt. We're going to give you $10 in store credit. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? anything like that. Now, I'm not that kind of person that comes with my hand out, because there are a lot of people like that too. Like,
Right.
I'm an unsatisfied customer. What are you going to give me?
Right.
You know, I want a free Frosty or something stupid like that. I'm not that person. But what I'm suggesting is, and it wouldn't even have been about the $5 or $10 or whatever store credit, or it would have showed me again that you want to make it right.
Yeah, there's an effort to make you a valued customer.
And it would have kept me, not just, you know, it would not have resolved that sale. That's the sale on this T-shirt ain't happening.
Right.
It ain't happening. We've been trying to do this since June. I'm not going to wear that shirt. It's
Right.
just not meant to be. But you can bring me back to your store for something else. And right now, it ain't happening. Midtown and things from another world will get all my business.
Let me put it to you this way. If it had been handled properly in the first place, and then say the shirt is available in 2 months, and somebody sends you a follow-up email and says, hey, you know, that shirt you're looking for, we've got it now. Would you like us to go ahead and put an order through for it? Would you do it?
No.
Really?
No. Not give us the $20 back now that we have the shirt and we'll send it again. No, not under the same terms.
Yeah.
At a discount or something, maybe. But you know, we've already tried that. We've already done that. I'm not interested in, now that I gave you the money and you gave it back, I'm not going to give it back to you again. So
Right.
you know, no. Why?
I don't know. It just seemed like if somebody had actually held on to it and kept me in their notes that, hey, when this comes in, let's make sure to email them back and tell them that it's here.
Well, respectfully though, that's the wrong time to be worried about making the sale.
Yeah, you're right.
You know what I mean? That ship is sailed. Now it tells me you're interested in trying to get my $20 back. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You've already lost the sale. You've already lost the customer. Now it just, to me, that says, hey, can we get another shot at your $20?
Right.
No. Again, there are so many more extreme examples of bad customer service. I'm not even saying this is bad customer service. For me, this was more how we correspond with each other. I didn't really have as much of a problem with what she did as how she talked. It wasn't necessary to be informal. And, you know, I asked for what I asked for in my first email. It wasn't necessary for if you like and all that. Now, Mary is not a bad person. She was not rude. There's nothing in there that can be construed as her being rude to me at all. She's sweet and nice, and I'm sure a prince of a gal. So there are plenty of other examples, and you've heard them, where folks have had bad customer service experience and stuff. So I don't want people to hear all this conversation and think, well, if that's what gets him mad, you know. No, not at all. It's the correspondence. All right. We got time for a little bit of something else, maybe real quick. I don't know if you heard about this or not. I don't know what we're doing, man. I just don't. What are we doing? Raleigh, North Carolina, February 6th. A man died after starting a race. I thought it was a marathon, but they say it's a race. He was 58 years old, which kudos for running races at 58.
58. I'm running the rocking chair race on my front porch.
Here's what he was competing in: the annual Krispy Kreme Challenge run. Okay, so here's the way this works: the Krispy Kreme Challenge, in which contestants are supposed to also, in addition to running, eat a dozen Krispy Kreme donuts midway through the competition.
Goodness. That's a throw up ready to happen right there. Can you imagine?
He dropped out of the race during the first mile of the race Saturday morning. What do you think his symptoms might have been?
Chest pain.
You nailed it. You absolutely nailed
Can
it.
we blame Krispy Kreme for that, though? I mean, the man's probably had 58 years of poor health.
I just realized, though, I feel really bad we're laughing about that, the guy dying. Not laughing about the guy dying, just the absurdity.
Right, the circumstances.
The absurdity of it all. He was pronounced dead at a nearby hospital. The unidentified runner, I'm sure this is a report close to the time that this happened, so he probably has been identified, but left the race before reaching the Krispy Kreme location, at which some competitors eat a dozen donuts before completing the final 2.5 miles of the 5-mile course. 5 miles and a dozen donuts.
Whew. You're not even working off what you're eating. Not even close.
The race is organized Well, here you go. It's organized by students at North Carolina State University to benefit North Carolina Children's Hospital in its 12th year.
What if they'll have a 13th year?
Yeah, you wonder when you hear things like this, how does it affect next year's event? Well, now that I have read this, and I've been holding on to this for a few days thinking we would talk about it when we come in, and sometimes things don't become clear to you until you sit down. There's nothing in here that indicates, and nothing in either reports I've seen that indicates he ate donuts.
Right. It sounds like he didn't eat them because it sounds like he didn't make it.
He was in the first mile.
He didn't make it to the donut entry point.
Yeah. Okay. So, because when you hear the headline, what you want to think is, some big donut eater got out and, had a heart attack, and you think of him as being out of shape.
That's how the media affects how we think.
Yeah, doesn't it though? Mm-hmm. The headlines and stuff. But I mean, there's nothing in here. We could see this guy, and my buddy I've mentioned before, Roy Heron, who's, I don't know, Roy maybe in his 60s now, who is probably the most fit person that I know. He runs marathons. But, things happen to you.
Yeah.
And this guy, for all we know, this guy could, he could look like a champion runner.
That's a pretty common age, though, for if you have heart problems, for things to start popping up.
So, okay. Well, I won't. Yeah. Maybe we should back off that a little bit.
Yeah. We're sorry for the family.
Yeah. Can you see them going, he did not eat the donuts. He didn't eat the donuts.
Can you see, like, every time the phone rings, he didn't eat the donuts and hang up?
Yes. Quote. You can quote me on that. So yeah, will we have a 13th year? Yeah. I don't know.
Stay tuned.
We'll go up there and compete. We get free donuts. Are the donuts free? That's what I want.
Can we drive to the donuts and then just kind of hobble through the last little bit there?
I might run 5 miles for a free donut.
Can I use a golf cart?
Would you? Well, I don't know. I know you work out and exercise. You're not much of a runner, though, are you?
No, I never could get into that.
Yeah.
Now, Krispy Kreme used to have a store right next to, this is going to be bad. They used to have a store right next to my store that I worked at, I managed. And I would sneak in there in the morning after I did the deposit and everything. I'd go down to the bank and drop the deposit off and then stop by the Krispy Kreme on the way back every day.
Oh, deep fried, sugar glazed cop killers.
When the hot light's on.
Yeah. We have been talking here at the house. I just mentioned the other day to Nate and to Gretchen to see if they were interested in doing it with me. You know anything about DDP yoga? Diamond Dallas Page?
Uh-huh.
Have you seen any of that?
I haven't seen it. I haven't seen him doing yoga.
He's got a.
It doesn't seem like a good combo.
I'm serious. Look it up on YouTube, and there's plenty of videos and stuff. I had become aware of this probably a year or two ago. He had developed, or he had gotten into some kind of yoga program from the years of abuse that his body had taken.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, Diamond Dallas Page was a professional wrestler, actually, who kind of took off. And his career picked up kind of later in life. I think he was in his 40s by the time he became his big gimmick. And
what was his thing, the diamond cutter?
Yeah, your thumb. And you actually do that in his yoga thing. You do your thumb and index finger together. Dynamic resistance. You push it out as far as you can, and then you bring it back and hulk it up.
Hulk it up.
So, but what he did was take some of the elements, he kind of cherry-picked things from different things that work, shed what doesn't. And there's some dynamic resistance, low impact exercise with some yoga thrown in. It's a unique stew or amalgam of all these things. And I'll be honest, man, I've researched it for like a week. I can't find anything anywhere negative about it.
Well, they're probably afraid he's going to kick their tail if you listen.
I mean, but come on. I fully expected, because you watch the commercials and you hear all the testimonials. There is an incredible video of this guy who was a paratrooper. He was a combat veteran in Desert Storm. And he had made so many paratrooper jumps that it had basically ruined his knees and his back. And he had to walk with braces.
I think I've seen that. It was the one where the guy falls on his face?
Yep.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yep. Arthur is his name. And he's now friends with DDP, and he actually helps him promote, obviously. What a great spokesperson. And anyway, I've been considering it, and I think I've maybe got my bunch ready to sign on to.
Yoga size?
Yeah, you should have seen Nathan gave me stink face when I said yoga. But I came home and I showed him some of the videos, and he was like, "Oh, I'll do that with you. I'll do that." He got a little more.
Well, now there is a lot, like, I'm more into weights and boxing and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But there is a lot to stretching and, and all that, the different maneuvers that, is really good for you.
And it's not just a yoga program.
Right.
As he says, it's not your mama's yoga. It's a program that he has developed with elements of yoga in it for all things core strengthening and mobility. And it seems that the weight loss has been kind of an unintended benefit. He didn't intend it or form it to be a weight loss program, but people are experiencing weight loss with it. And I think some of that because it has a diet that goes with it and stuff too.
You're afraid to eat. You might evacuate when you do some of those moves.
Crouching dog and
downward dog in the tree pose. You might end up
a withering tree, and I don't know what they are. So I don't know. More news as it develops. You may come back here and
see
a couple of weeks. We'll have some yoga mats down here.
your leg warmers on and your tights.
And then now all I need is my Prius and my Coexist bumper sticker. Vote for Bernie.
Bernie feel the burn 2016.
My Prius with my Coexist bumper sticker and my other bumper sticker on the other side that says my other car is a yoga mat.
Yeah, there you go. My other car is a Huffy 10-speed.
Oh, that's great. All right.
You could be a bicycle cop out here.
No.
Nope.
All right. Well, we'll bring it home for today. Be sure and come back with us and check us out if you haven't already on the interwebs at theythatbelieve.com. That's our homepage. And facebook.com/theythatbelieve. That'll get you anywhere else.
I was going to tell you a quick story.
Oh, yeah, please.
I was subbing the other day in a business class, and some of the kids were asking about comic books, and I was kind of giving them the answer from back when I was a kid. And then I subbed again, and the guy was like, "We like you. You're into comic books." And I said, "Well, I've got this whole podcast thing I do with my preacher, and it's it's like a Christian versus pop culture thing. And it's got a lot of comic book talk in it too." And he's like, "What's the address? I'm gonna check it out." So
that's great.
If any of the kids from school are checking it out, then
Oh, that's great.
Thank y'all.
That's great. A little extra traffic for us.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right. Well, good. I know they're on the interwebs.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'm Pastor Dave. Sitting with me, Randall the Armor Bearer, and we are
They That Believe.
Hulk it up!
Hulk it up!